These half-watt amplifier PCBs are only about 50 cents each, and today I'm going to show you how to rebuild one of these into a really incredibly good sounding dirt pedal. I really didn't want this to be just another one of those novelty projects where we get a PCB and we modify it and then it makes some form of a guitar sound and then we just move on. I wanted it to sound really good, like so good that once you build it, it knocks something really great off your pedal board, something that's already in a prime position on that pedal board. So that is the goal of this video, is to build something that is going to rival anything that any of the big guys out there are putting out, just with a 50-cent PCB. So here's a quick demo with this pedal that I built using this PCB. Now I'm going to be going through a few different tones, right from sort of clean on the edge of breakup sounds to sort of heavier lead tones, but I want you to sort of hear the capability of what this can actually do. Later on in the video, what we're going to do is break down the individual sounds just isolated outside of the mix, just so you can hear them individually as well, to see if it's going to be something that you would like to build. Okay, it's time to mod this board. Now, if you like these sort of videos and you want to see more of this sort of stuff, please hit that subscribe button and smash me a like too if you can. It really helps get these videos out there. Now, we aren't going to be selling these pedals on our site. It's just for you to build. But if you do want to support the channel, you can grab a schematic of this entire circuit on there, including all the true bypass switching. The link is down in the description, and I'll also put some links for the PCB that I grabbed off AliExpress. I've got no affiliation with them, but I think you can also get them off Amazon anyway, but I'll put the links down in there. Right, what we need to do first is get rid of this trimmer. Once the trimmer is removed, we need to install the input resistor and the RF one. So we've got a 4.7 nano. That's where the 4.7 nano one fits, and the little 100 picofarad one is going to slip in right next door. Hopefully I can fit it in the same slot. It'd be like really nice. So kind of like this, they're going to fit together in this sort of way. So let me just solder these together. So next we need to do the 9-volt wire. Okay, so you can see the one, they're labeled ground, ground in, and VCC. That's the one you want to wire the 9-volt to. And then we're going to need an input wire. So that's the one labeled in. Cool, that's those guys done. So that's that wire. Now we need a ground wire. Lovely. Gain pot wire. To get the gain pot wire to work, we have to remove and short out C1. So let's find C1. C1 is here. It's labeled pretty clearly on the PCB. Just a bit of solder each side, and then yeah, that one came off easy. So if I short the wire right across there, if I go like this, this could work really well. Yeah, mint. That's really nice. Cool, and then the output wire. Now the output wire is actually coming out of here. So you've got a ground here and you've got the out, and we can just add a resistor from here straight to the presence control. So we will do that shortly. So what I'm going to do is I will get all this wired up inside. It doesn't want to sit there. I want to get this wired up inside the pedal, and then I'll show you where I connected everything from there. Cool. Everything's in here now, it's all wired up, it's all working, I've tested everything. So here's all the true bypass switching. It's pretty standard sort of stuff when it comes to that. So out from here is a 1 meg resistor going directly to the presence control. The presence control is just acting as a variable resistor going through a 1 nanofarad capacitor to ground. That's pretty much it there. From our gain control here, that wire that we put on the PCB for the gain control, that goes to this side of the gain pot. This is a 1K reverse audio taper pot that I decided to use. I just liked it better, but you could probably use a 1K linear, it would be fine. Then soldered to these two lugs here is a 47 ohm resistor. So that sets the maximum gain, and I find that's a nice sort of gain range to shoot for without getting into any oscillation issues. The 47 ohm resistor goes across these two lugs, and then from this lug here, you've got a 47 UF capacitor going to ground. From your presence control, remember it's just wired as a variable resistor, so the output goes to the center lug here, and then I've got this left hand lug here going from the 1 nanofarad capacitor to ground. Now also from the center lug, it just goes straight into the volume pot. That's just wired as a normal volume pot, straight back out to the foot switch, and the power is just wired as normal. There's filtering already included in here. You might notice I switch these around. It depends on the PCB you get. Sometimes they're around the other way, but on this one I actually switched the two capacitors because this is your input coupling capacitor. This 100 picofarad one just helps stop oscillations and things like that by rolling a little bit of top end to ground. So just make sure you get those oriented the right way. Oh yeah, so the fuzz switch, this just adds a 33 nanofarad capacitor in parallel to this 4.7 nanofarad one. So essentially it's just increasing the input capacitor value. That's the way I like to think of it, allowing a lot more low end to come through, which is going to make it have a bit more of a fuzzy quality. So I spend quite a lot of time just sort of tweaking everything to get it right. I really love how the presence control works with the volume, because I had to knock quite a bit of volume off to actually get this whole thing to work. It was just so loud. Remember, this is an amplifier PCB, so it's actually meant to drive a speaker, so you've got to really dump a lot of that output volume off before you can use it really successfully as a pedal. But man, does it sound awesome. It sounds pretty mean. So we've also got the schematic on our site. The link's in the description if you want to check that out. But right now I'm going to put the bottom on and we're going to go through those controls. Right, so the first sound we're going to check out is a really cool low gain sound. If you roll your volume back, you get a really cool sort of bluesy tone. Okay, so let's just play around with this presence control to see what sort of sounds we can get. So this is with the presence all the way off. All the way up. Let's move through the drive control now. So it's full drive now, quite a heavy saturated sound. You can really hear the effect of the presence control on this tone. Let's flick that fuzz switch on and check out what sort of sounds we get. Really thick and fuzzy, but when you roll it back, you get straight back into that really great sounding overdrive. And then with the flick of the switch, you're straight back into sort of distortion overdrive territory, which is really cool. It's so easy to go between different tones with this pedal. It's once you get the hang of the controls, it's just so easy to flick from really heavy saturated sounds right through to really clean edge of breakup sounds. It's quite an incredible unit. Let's there's just such a huge scope on this pedal. Like if you listen here, I'll just go through a whole bunch of tones really quickly, just to show you how quick it is to change between them. So super heavy saturated fuzz. So now it's a sort of a saturated distorted tone. And then just straight into a low gain bluesy overdrive sound. So seriously, such an awesome pedal, love this thing. So as you can see, this pedal is actually pretty damn versatile. It's got a lot of scope. You can go from sort of clean boost all the way through to some really saturated fuzz tones and quite a lot of really nice tones in between, all using a few controls, you know, just 3 knobs and a switch. So I urge you to build one of these. I really would love to see if it does knock something off your pedal board. I think it's a really great sounding pedal, and I've never really designed, I mean, I've designed a lot of pedals, but I haven't used an LM386 chip before, and the one they use in here is quite nice. It's got quite a nice decay, not too fizzy, which sometimes can be a problem with these. So grab your soldering iron, give this one a crack, and let me know in the comments how it goes. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and we'll catch you in the next video.